Welcome to the aftermarket review from Also Repair Focus. I'm Phil Curry and I'm coming to you from The Hub. This is a place where all the Auto Repair Focus content creation, from written to videos to podcast planning, goes on. I appreciate it's not very exciting, but it does have a BTCC wheel in the background. And that's going to lead me into my first story. Now, the aftermarket review is an overview of some of the big aftermarket stories from the last 7 days. But first, before I get into any of that, let's have a title sequence so I can get a nice pretty YouTube thumbnail from it at least. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of this video as well. Now, I'm not very good with my memory, so I do have some notes written down on an iPad here, but let's hit into it. If you see this on the screen, now you know why. So, BTCC and Absolute Alignment and Cataclean got their first race sponsorship weekend off to a really good start. And when I say sponsorship, I mean with new teams. Well, I say new team, but in the case of Absolute Alignment, they've been supplying equipment to PowerMax Racing for the last 4 years. This year they're stepping up to sponsor, and with that comes an opportunity to take part in a Prime Video documentary that is following the team around the BTCC circuit this year. Now, Jason Plato, the PMR driver, is currently lying third in the championship after getting a podium in the last race of the weekend at Thruxton. And Cataclean is also starting a new sponsorship program with Team Dynamics, their driver Daniel Rowbottom taking the seat of Matt Neal, who's taking a sabbatical this year. He also had a very good weekend, coming through the field a couple of times and currently lies 8th in the championship, doing better than his teammate Gordon Shedden, who had a bit of a messy weekend with an accident and various different other incidents. The BTCC seems like a really good place for aftermarket companies to be promoting their content at the moment. We have, for example, Laser Tools, Modal, Wera, Liquid Moly, Febi Bilstein, TerraClean, NGK, and others, all in the championship at the moment, supporting drivers and teams, supplying equipment, so on and so forth. So look out for a number of different related press pieces from these companies and many more as the season goes on, and it's sure to be an exciting one by the look of it from race 1 at least, although the weather did play a part. It was quite wet. Now, next on the agenda, used car sales. They were down 8.9% in the first quarter of 2021 according to figures from the SMMT. But to be fair, comparing to last year is pretty meaningless after the COVID-19 decimation of the market. January saw figures down 27.1% and February was down 19.4%. March was 32.2% up, but we have to take into account that last March we started lockdown and dealerships closed. So we're comparing January and February to periods where dealerships were open last year and they were closed this year, for example. If you compare March to 2019, for example, it was 16.5% down. And the used car market is still more buoyant than the new car market, which registered growth of over 3,000% in April alone. But again, compared to last year where 871 odd private cars were sold in the month, comparisons are meaningless. Now, another story we've got here is Toyota offering to mark components, especially catalytic converters, which are becoming more susceptible to theft at the moment. Now, Toyota pointed out that the catalytic converters in their older hybrid models are actually more prone to theft because they have less workload and therefore the precious metals inside are in better condition than some of those on a 150,000 mile petrol engine, for example. Now, the car maker is working with Smart Water and has handed out 20,000 kits to police forces around the UK. The car maker is also working with the AA, and their patrols are going to be pointing Toyota drivers as to where they can get these free kits. It's worth bearing that in mind if you get a Toyota hybrid or an older Toyota into your garage, just to mention it to your customer. It could always help with a bit of customer service backup as well there. And finally, independent online car retailer Motorpoint has highlighted some of the more unusual things left in vehicles when they've been traded in. The top 10 includes things like a hay bale, a stash of adult DVDs, underwear, wedding rings, some of these things may be related, and a dog. Now, who leaves their dog in a car when they're trading it in? Unless, of course, it's a Rover. Thank you. But in all seriousness, we'll end it there. Now don't forget to check out autorepairfocus.com, where you can find the latest aftermarket stories, product stories, features, videos, automotive news and more. And you can also sign up here to the Auto Repair Focus Insight, a free newsletter that brings you, amongst other stuff, things like this video, news and some other comment and blog pieces as well. For now, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next episode.